Hey yo everybody. Happy weekend everyone. Welcome back to another H2R dev stream. We are back here with Sacred Icon. Hi. Good to see y'all again. Loud. So we are making some fantastic pacing through this mission, and that's with two entirely new batches of original areas being added to this mission, and we are still on such great pace. We are pretty much at the very end with this encounter here. And then after that, we have the holdout defense section over here. If the light maps look a little fucky, by the way, that's because this is lit on low currently. Low settings. Testing purposes. So don't worry about it looking a little funky. So this part of the game is like probably one of the most unpolished parts of Halo 2, if I had to say. We'll go into all that and like what all of the stuff that we have to sort of tend to sort of bring it up to snuff. Just a lot of things that don't really work consistently here in this encounter, and just like some really dull encounter design in general, especially with this last part here is concerned. Because the problem with Halo 2 is Halo 2's like inherent limitations are not really suited to have a big, hectic holdout defense section, so they're kind of like forced to only spawn 4 flood at a time, like 20 seconds apart from each other. So there's just like lots of standing around here doing nothing, waiting for something to happen. So I don't know if we'll get to this part of the mission today, but we're definitely gonna give some good love to this first half here, which is the quarantine zone initial encounter. Oh yeah, and also Echo 482 fixed the human combat form's broken climbing animations, so they can actually climb up out of the pits now without just going flying off to their death. So that's properly working now. I used that to my advantage in some creative ways earlier in the mission. So let's show off the ledge encounters leading up to here, which I think get some fun stuff with them. There's not much to the ledge encounters, but added some fun stuff nonetheless. So let's show that off. Gotta run through all of my object deletion scripts first to make sure we have enough object memory for this late in the mission. Hi there, little dude. Okay, we are Ledge B encounter. This is after you get out of Hall C, that big gauntlet of flood rooms dropping down in here. I did some interesting visual stuff with this part. Since we're up past the marine encounter up there, figured it would only make sense to have a Marine outpost sort of set up on this first ledge, although it's currently abandoned because they had to defend from the flood that are all over there. And funny thing about this BSP is that the light source in this BSP is coming from like over there in the sky rather than over there where the sun is. So since this BSP is now isolated from the first wall over there, that allowed me to actually put the sun's light source in a place that made sense. So we actually get the sun casting light into here where it makes sense. And don't worry about how splotchy it looks, by the way. It's lit on low settings currently. But now we'll actually get like cool shadows being cast from everything here as the light penetrates into this space, as you would expect. Top up on some equipment. I left this ledge here pretty barren just to act as a breather, because you just got done with some crazy shit in Hall C there with lots and lots of flood and Marines and Sentinels. And I think this ledge had a cut Sentinel encounter, but we're gonna leave that cut just so we can have a nice breather. Pointing out older HUR videos of the weapons shoot faster and pistol port on Xbox. Have you ever heard it? Any of those in this version? Yeah. BR should shoot as fast as OG. As close to OG Xbox as I could. Same thing with the carbine. And the beam rifle, brute shot, magnum. All that should be consistent with the original Xbox version, unless I wanted to change it to something else specifically. Added a bunch of constructors fleeing out of the shaft, and then did something fun with this shaft here. Actually put stuff in there so the music has something, has a reason to be all scary and stuff. Whereas in vanilla, there was like nothing happening there. This is like the formal introduction of the Covenant fleet combat forms for Halo 2. There's a bunch of decoration to this ledge here. Just like CER, we have all manner of flood ranks for the elites. Sure not to give you a checkpoint if you're doing too badly after this part here, so you don't get yourself caught in like a really unfortunate position. That's an ultra. Rank of elite. Yeah, this encounter was mostly just brushing up on the flood placements and adding a whole bunch of decoration. Form of dead dudes. also fixed the broken weather polyhedra here that made snow fall through the shaft when the BSP switches. Also, I gotta fix the fucking AI popping in when the door opens. Okay. That leads up to what we're gonna work on today. So yeah, the reason that you see snow falling through the shaft there in vanilla is because the weather polyhedra here that makes it so weather particles do not fall where inside of this volume. This polyhedra was like all the way down here, like only covering the very bottom of the shaft instead of all of it. So I just raised it up so no snow shows up inside of the shaft. Windows 11 Redux to get dark theme on Gorilla Sapien. I'm using like a Discord theme, but yeah, I am using like a Windows theme pack so my eyes don't bleed. I think one of the infectable flood bodies have their dialogue still there that I need to get rid of, so they're not saying anything while they're getting revived, weirdly. Let's see. Complete infection. Get rid of the default dialogue. Dialogue. Yes. Get rid of all your dialogue. Okay. Hi there, Peach. Good to see ya. Can this mod be added to Steam? Yep, that's where it's going. Is SI the shortest level? No. That's actually high charity, and in fact I made SI even longer. Pacing has just gone really, really well working on this mission so far. This will not be on Project Cartographer, because the Project Cartographer version of Halo 2 is not capable of being modded to this extent, anywhere near this extent. Alright, so let's take a look at this encounter in vanilla, just so we have a fresh sort of frame of reference. I saw you drop down the shaft as normal. Are all the shafts still part of the levels, or did you try and change one? They're all still part of the level, yeah. But I added some stuff to some of them, like the infection form swarm in there. I don't know, Peach. Just keeping them around at all times, so I always keep my roots in mind. let's take a look at the vanilla version of this level, which I have pulled up right here. And take note of everything that I want to polish up. Alright, so first order of business, fix all of the enemies popping in front of you when you walk in. Second order of business, need to fix the Rafe mortar projectiles so they actually make contact with the Sentinel factory up there. Third order of business, maybe make it crash out a lot faster. Third order of business, make it so, or fourth order of business, make so the elite way in the back here does not have a shield permanently dropped. I feel like Bungie did that so because they couldn't justify having 4 guys following you without making sacrifices to the frame rate, so they just basically guaranteed it to where one of them will die really easily, so you're left with only 3. But we don't have to worry about that, so we can just give you all 4. So I'll make that guy's shield work normally. Fifth order of business, make the AI scene here play a lot more consistently and sooner, because it takes forever to trigger. Yeah, it took you long enough after you dropped in.
We must do what we can against the flood. Our commander has landed further in. Let us join him.
Fifth order of business, make this make these couple of flood waves a little bit more dynamic and make it so these guys don't get stuck down here, because all the flood that come from up there just gets stuck right here where they land. Probably also remove the rocket flood that jumps down into here, because it's a little early to have a rocket flood. I think we'll have one spawn in the defense section in the next area. But yeah, 2 waves here makes sense to me, and then when you approach this cave here, flood come out of that cave. Yeah, the encounter design here should be really straightforward. It's mostly just like the timing of AI scenes and sort of general polish of stuff like that needs to be ironed out here. Probably place a couple more bits of useful stuff, like another Covenant turret up there. Also, make it so the watchtower here is actually deployed initially, so you don't have to walk up and bump it for it to actually rise. Then we'll also add like a bunch of dead grunts and jackals littering the area here, along with some combat decorations, since this is a Fallen Covenant camp. Probably also put some weapons in these boxes as well. Probably also a good idea to make it so like there doesn't need to be the same flood scream every single time a new wave spawns. We don't need it for every single wave. We can save the flood screeches for the actual holdout section. But yeah, it should be a pretty simple stretch to take care of. Okay. Have a good one, Peach. Good to see ya. Alright, so let's dive into the scripts here and see how this encounter how it plays out, and if there are any cuts, if there's any sort of cut content we can take advantage of here. Let's see, what is this encounter called? What is this? Encounter Quarantine Zone Initial. Alright, let's examine the anatomy of this encounter. Okay, so here are the mortars that shoot at the Sentinel factory. chapter title, the objective scripts, the factory scripts, then the initial placement of dudes. And oh, I didn't realize if you're not playing on normal or below, it won't place the turret on the other side. Well, that's no fun. Let's put the turrets over there. Then waits till you get into the camp. And then I think the elites getting sent in is probably handled by the factory crashing script. Yep. Okay, so waits till the factory is a certain way through its scene before it sends in its dudes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep that, but also make it so they get sent in if you're already moving forward quite a bit. So make it basically more independent of the factory's crashing scripts. So if you're rushing, your allies will get sent in a lot faster. And then waits till you get over here. Then the short wave spawning script. Then this must be the flood screaming sound. Dialogue 0180. I actually imported a bunch more flood howls and screams, so we can have a lot more variety to that than just hearing the same sound over and over. Let's see, 0180. Yep, it's literally just one sound. Yeah, we have a lot more that we can use than just that. Alright, and then it waits till you get close to the cave, and then it sends the flood from the cave in. Okay, this is a really, really simple and straightforward encounter. It should be really easy to sort of deconstruct and then reconstruct. Let me just comment pretty much everything out. And we'll rebuild it from scratch. Let me first get rid of all of the do some necessary optimization stuff. Destroy all of the sort of stuff on the ledges coming into here. Destroy containing ledge B stuff and ledge C stuff and ledge C body. Destroy all those bodies. Okay, and then AI disposable ledge C flood. Actually, probably just erase them entirely. Let me see what this trigger volume is. Where's the trigger volume for starting this encounter? Oh yeah, we're well far enough away from the ledge C flood that we can just justify killing them entirely. Setting them disposable and killing them. I think I am going to make some very slight level design tweaks here, so the area is allowed to breathe and flow better, but won't worry about that on this stream. Because, mainly because the snow BSPs without light maps are an absolute eyesore to look at, and we don't have, I don't feel like sitting here light mapping BSPs while I'm streaming, so we're just gonna work with what we got for now. Let me show you what it looks like, actually. SSC light map 0. Ah! Hey, you want to look at this for the next 4 hours? I sure don't. Okay, let's first attend to the factory crashing. That factory's crashing out, bro. So it waits until the door is open before it gets started, but weirdly it doesn't wait to do that for the mortars firing. Okay, let's try just not waiting until the door is open for that, because trigger volume is already so close to the door to start the encounter. Let's also check like every single tick for you to get into this trigger volume. So it's like right on point as soon as you get there. Okay, let's take a look at what these mortars do exactly. Let's see. These are spawned from effects. We'll have to see what their projectile is. G mortar A, G mortar B. Okay, they just both fire off until a certain amount of time has passed. No brute allies. That would like be counter to what the story is trying to tell, which is that the elites were responsible for recovering the sacred icon, the index, but the brutes took credit for it. If you add the brutes into that mix, then that whole message gets muddied. Same goes for if you have brutes and elites just like casually existing around each other. It undermines the whole message of them being rivals in the Covenant faction who absolutely despise each other. So having them never appear alongside each other as allies helps better sell the fact that elites and brutes do not mix whatsoever from a story perspective. And also, I've said it many times, brutes are just not equipped to be allies. They have like no necessary dialogue, and their berserk behavior their berserking behavior makes them play terribly against the sentinels because they just drop their weapon when they go berserk, and they're literally defenseless against the sentinels because the sentinels are flying. So they would be absolutely terrible in this mission to have around. I would like to see what this looked like on the dig site version. I'll check it out off stream. And let's take a look at the factory crashing scene. Okay, wait until you're looking at the factory and you're in the trigger volume for it. Probably doesn't make sense to wait till you're looking at the factory because you're already like looking at it as you come out. As you come out here anyway. So that's just like an unnecessary delay to getting the scene started and going. Because by the time, the problem with this scene with the factory is that by the time it actually starts to get going, your attention is already on the flood on the ground before you, and you've already like dropped down and started engaging them, and you're just like never gonna see it. So that's something we need to address by having it getting going like immediately as soon as you step out. Immediately grabbing your attention. Okay, so it is a device machine. That means I can theoretically speed up how fast it crashes. We'll play around with that in a second. Let me just let's just comment out it waiting for you to look at it. Also, I need to set up get the test script going for this encounter. I don't think I'll run all my tornado scripts. I'll just get like the bare minimum stuff going because I don't think I'll need to run all of that. Zone initial. Okay. Don't need to run all the tornado scripts, I don't think. G quarantine zone. Sure. You encourage the player to actually hang back here so they don't rush everyone miss the factory scene and the elite's dialogue would be a blue. Well, then players don't need to sit through it. It's just good that on a first playthrough, if players are highly likely to want to sit through it so they can actually see it. It's just a matter of making it more likely that players will actually notice and appreciate it as opposed to just rushing past and missing it entirely. As long as they know it exists, they can make the choice whether or not they want to watch it. I just want players to actually know it exists. God damn it. Shit. Where is it teleporting me to? Quarantine zone initial A. Why couldn't teleport player into a valid location? Are you stupid? Not this fucking song, it gets me copyright claimed every time it plays. How is this not a valid location to you, dumbass? What the fuck is wrong with you? What is it doing? Dude, are you serious right now? Why is it just deleting me? Why is it not considered such a valid location to teleport me into? What the fuck? Ugh, god damn it. Teleports me there just fine. And we have this one teleport thing here. This might be messing me up. There we go. Let's see. There we go. So we could probably extend the start of that trigger volume back a lot sooner, so the mortars are already in the air by the time you get in here. Move it back to here. Where are all the mortar shots, dude? I need to make it so the mortar shots are not randomized, so the ones that actually are supposed to be close to the factory are firing off consistently. Otherwise, it just explodes out of nowhere. Thank you, ImaginArt, for the $2. What was the inspiration for the carbine spinning? I think Spartan277 came up with that idea. Yeah, we need to get those mortars firing off way sooner. Okay, first I need to figure out which one is actually firing in the correct direction toward the factory and get that one to fire consistently. This one doesn't even want to fire off. Wonder if it's because the game thinks... Yeah, this one doesn't even have a projectile at all. Neither does that one. A bunch of just like dysfunctional flags for mortar shots that don't even work. Oh boy. Do any of these work? Are the mortar EAE? Are those not initially created? They should be. Effect new. Cutscene flags. Okay, so they're not objects that need to be created. Do these just straight up not work? That would be sad. This is literally the only one that works. Okay. All the cutscene flags are there. Oh, okay, they're working. It's just like they fucking don't even fly up high enough. That's... I don't know if it was always like that in vanilla, but... Okay, that it works, it's just like not firing close to it at all. I think some of these are just meant to be ambient, not all of them are meant to be shooting at the factory. But which ones are actually meant to make contact with the factory is what I'm wondering. I think this one, okay, that one can make contact easily, so that needs to fire off every single time. We'll slip you in right here at the beginning of the script so you always fire off. And then as for this one, these just use the same flags. Why do they have two separate looping things that all use the same flags? Oh well. And then I need to check out what projectile they're using. I don't know if they're using the Wraith projectile or if their own unique projectile. If they're using their own unique projectile, that'll make it way easier to have them go a lot farther. The script is getting choked up. It's not. This encounter script is not going off immediately. I need to, it's like waiting for a second. I guess it has to go through all of the other scripts. In the mission script. Whoa!
Would you like to eventually make your own video game?
Thank you, Recon Hunter 259 for the $10. I really appreciate it. Thank you for using Streamlabs. Yes, I would love to make my own video game someday.
Would you like to eventually make your own video game?
Kinda consider this mod project as like training in that sort of broader endeavor. I would think I'd start with something like Unity. I don't know what type of game though. There's a lot of different genres of games that I like. Okay, that is much better timing. I just need to have it actually visibly make contact with the factory. Alright, let's take a look at this effect then and see what projectile they're using. Effects design, mortar emitter, mortar emitter. Design, mortar emitter. Literally the only thing in this directory. Mortar emitter, mortar turret, Wraith. Okay, so it's just using the Wraith projectile. I wonder if I could fix this just by tweaking these values here rather than touching the values of the Wraith projectile itself. Let's see. Let's try increasing this to like velocity of 50 and see what happens. Okay, that works. Don't need it to be that high, but it works. Okay, let's try a velocity of 16 to 20. Okay, really easy to make this work. So it's not like an actual object that it can make contact with, collision-wise, I don't think. Oh! It is something that has collision, isn't it? Wait, no. Does it? Wait, it does have collision. Awesome, so I can have the projectile actually make contact with it. I just have to aim it correctly. That might be hard to do because that is nowhere near making its target. And also the scale would be really fucked up. You wouldn't even be able to see the mortar from this range either, so having it actually collide with it is not really a viable idea. So I think with the way this is set up, there are already going to be a bunch of projectiles that look like they're making contact, so as long as there's like more than one that look like they're making contact, it should be fine. Let's wake both of these scripts and see what's going on with them. Okay, that works like visually. Let's see how well that works with the timing of the script. Yeah, it's already in the air. Be good if there were a lot more in the air though. That would easily get your attention. Reduce the cooldown that it waits to send more projectiles in, at least in this script. how the scene, if the scene looked different at all in the Xbox version. Like if the mortars actually looked like they made contact. We also think having the existence of a bunch of AI might also mess around with the visibility of the effects on the Wraith projectile, so let me spawn them in and see how that looks. What would help is making a projectile for the Wraith mortar whose projectile stops rendering after a certain distance, so it looks like it's exploding at least. Let me play around with that idea. Carry this over into the directory of its effect. Let's see here. We'll have it detonate after a... Just have it detonate after a certain range, maximum range. Let's bump that down to 50 world units and see how that works. Yeah, that'll work. Easy. The problem is that it's an arced projectile, so at some point the distance it's traveling starts to slow down quite a bit. It's a little bit of a balancing act. That could work. Thank you, Ma. We can delay its explosion just a little bit so it can sync up with the projectile despawning. Let's just wait one more second. Ticks earlier. My Discord is in the description for anybody who wants to chat in there. That's what I wanted. I wonder at this distance, though, if their detonation effect would even render. Let's see. Let me try playing around with their detonation timer and see if the effect would, like, feasibly render from this range. Detonation timer starts immediately. Timer of, say, 4.25 seconds. I did not think their detonation effects will render from this range. Oh, they're playing. It's just they have to. I think they have to be on the ground or on like a surface for them to render. Yeah, they have to be on impact on a surface with normals to render. Just copy this effect and then effects, objects, vehicles, wraith. Alright, copy that. Bring it over here. Does not even need a damage effect. Alright, and just change these markers to up. Okay. Is that visible at all from this range? Nope, not really. Well, I guess I could change the range of the projectile's detonation effect. Shows up from. Alright, 500, 1000. Actually, probably don't even need this many of all of these effects to render. Let's just pick and choose ones we need. Hope this doesn't overload the engine. That would be a little awkward. Okay. I just need to account for like the projectiles that don't hit the mark. Let me go through all of the flags here and then lower the ones that don't already lower the angles of the ones that don't already hit it, so they don't explode in midair for no reason. I think the only one that actually hits is F. I don't even see A anywhere. What the hell is A? A's just not working. I hear it. Where are you? What are you? You're all the way off to the right. Damn. There's literally no circumstance which you could even see this one. Why does this one even exist? I guess I'll just like raise it up so you can actually see it. Okay. B. My god, there's literally no situation where you're ever gonna see B either. Wait. There we go. Alright, that one can stay like it is. C probably needs to be lowered. It's not gonna hit its mark. Okay. So I want it to show up, just don't want it to detonate in midair. That's good. D. Where is D? D is over there as well, in a place that you're never going to see it. Maybe. Let's see. Yeah, even with my sped up projectile speed, you can't even ever see it. It's funny. This mission is so unpolished. Wait, it's in the ground too, so like the projectile isn't even rendering. Oh my god, Sacred Icon is like... Sacred Icon really needed another month in the oven. That goes super high up in the air. Change the trajectory of that. You want to make the Sentinel Factory 3D and make a new explosion grounded pack for it? That is ambitious. Hi there, Alistair. Okay, E is also in the ground, so it's in the wall, so it can't even shoot. Can't even show up. Okay, having E actually able to fire, it is one of the ones that does hit the Sentinel Factory. Okay, that should do it for that script. That should do it for the mortar shots. They should all be up to snuff now. That looks so cool. It's actually it's actually impacting the factory. Let's see, I need to tweak the timing of its destruction a little bit. The things you can do with visual trickery. Needs to blow up a little bit sooner. Thank you, Gucci, for the $1.99. Very epic. Thank you, Gucci, for another $1.99. Very epic. You know what I might want to do, though, is I might want to, make the particles of the explosion smaller. Because they look like they're too big, so it makes the factory look a lot smaller than it actually is. So let's adjust the particle sizes of these a bit. Make them like half of their size. Your version of the Needler synergizes with any dual weapons. The Needler, it works really great for taking out singular strong targets like elites, of course. Could also use it to take out their shields, even if you don't get that many needles in, but you do get a super combine. You could also use the Needler to trigger an EMP death chain and sentinels, while also wielding another like plasma weapon for safely dispatching them without doing the EMP. So synergizes well with plasma weapons in that context. Sentinels appear in any other level in this mod. Probably Great Journey, because there are a bunch of cool cut spawns and dialogue relating to them on Great Journey. I'm liking that. Maybe I could also reduce the size of the projectiles effects. Get rid of the lights on them. Yeah, let me copy the rates mortar effect as well so I can size those down a bit. Not by too much, just a little. Yes, I am, Mippa. I think they did that so you're guaranteed to have one of them die for performance reasons, so there weren't too many AI following you around, but we don't have to worry about that, so I'm gonna allow that elite to live. Hee. Actually, now that I'm thinking of it, would probably make sense to have a script that more slowly fires some Wraith projectiles over the mountains, so there's still like some activity going on even after the Sentinel factory crashes. Like not too often, but still firing off mortars intermittently until like the very end of the mission. Because there's a lot of combat going on over there. Nice and consistent. Syncs up really nicely with the elites falling down too. Last thing I want to do concerning the factory scene is I want to see if what it looks like if I speed up how fast it goes. So let's see. Scenarios, objects, solo, Sentinel HQ. Sentinel factory. Vice machine, position acceleration time, position transition time, 225 seconds. Let's reduce that to 170 seconds and see what it looks like. think that works just fine. Would have to... I think the scripts will all still work properly with that. May slow it down just a little bit more. Go 190. That scene actually happens a lot faster. We can wait a little bit longer before sending the Covenant pods in. And I'm going to make that work pretty much independently of this script. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that, I'm going to wake the pod script, and then in the pod script, AI cov ins pods. I'm going to slot this in to wait until the factory is at a certain position, or actually have it wait a little longer. Either gonna wait for that, or it's gonna wait till you have moved up. So let's go volume test objects. Let's see, what trigger volume should we have it wait for? Probably wait until you're not in this trigger volume anymore would make sense. I'll just add a trigger volume here. TV Quincy initial started. Alright, wait till you've traveled a little bit of a distance, and then it'll guarantee to send the guys in. You're rushing forward. Think about there makes sense. I think we might also stagger out them sending in a little bit more, so they're not all coming in like all at once. Okay, so how many are they sending in? 4, right? They all have their own script. That is kind of annoying. This is not the right script then that I need to put the stuff in. I need to put it in the general script for them. Wait, there are actually 5 of them that drop in. 5 of them that dropped in, but one of them is commented out. Oh, you know what? I just realized we need to have the pods dropping in for the commander's squad in this area too. So we need to add more pods that drop in further in to the area. Because we don't even see any pods that dropped in over here, do we? So we're gonna need to put those in somewhere. I'll save that for later. I won't get too lost in that though, since that's not relevant to the actual encounter design. I'm curious about this commented out pod though. Where does that one land? Over there, okay. This one's shields are also down, and he spawns with the sword. Huh, interesting. We'll just keep it at 4 guys that drop into here for now, though. Mindful, I don't think the supplies here aren't from the Spec Ops deployment at all. They're from the Covenant who were here initially, but all got overrun. The Spec Ops are still waiting for their Phantoms to come in when you're holding out here. So all this stuff is from squads before the Spec Ops got sent in, which are overrun. A combat form would be crushed by an insertion pod. That would be funny. That's not a bad idea, Luna. I'll note that down. Okay. Anyway, I was gonna... put that down those conditions to wait to send the rest of the guys in. And I was also going to stagger them out a little bit. Let's increase the time that it waits between sending each one in. I don't think this will be the last Sacred Icon stream. If all goes well, the last Sacred Icon stream will be me decorating and texturing all of the new areas. Off my screen, Bungie. Ruining the moment. Delaying the sound a little bit is actually a smart idea, too. Good to represent the distance. Let's see, that is a sound that is independent of the factory, so we could totally delay that a little bit. Let's go sleep. Let's go 35 ticks. That to like 20 ticks. Text while keeping count of the amount of streams per level. That seems good. Halo 2's, I think Halo's engine does have a built-in system for delaying sounds from playing depending on the distance you are from them. It's just that this is a scripted sound and not an actual sound that's playing in the world, so have to figure that out ourselves. Also, this guy's supposed to spawn in with dual-wielding plasma rifles, but because they can't...
The Arbiter!
Oh, you played that scene really early. But because AI can't bring dual-wield weapons into vehicles, his plasma rifle just awkwardly spawns in right there. Let me fix that. I might be able to do some kind of hackery later to get him to dual-wield properly, but won't focus on that right now. Get rid of your second plasma rifle. Anybody else dual wielding? No. Hi, Beethovenus. Okay. That is the Sentinel Factory scene all sorted out. I'm happy with that. Now we need to get the timing of the objective prompt on screen. And the chapter title, of course. So let's get the chapter title back in. Shouldn't need to make any changes to that. Chapter title's a little buggy in Sapien, but yeah. How long does my reticle stay off screen? That seems fine. Okay, now the mission prompt. I feel like the mission prompt should... we're gonna make the objective prompt only show up after the elite finishes his dialogue, or you rush on ahead to the next area. Or you're rushing on ahead. Objective rendezvous set. I should already have the string set up for this. And the script set up for this as well. Rendezvous with allies at the Covenant camp. Perfect. Okay, just need to figure out the timing for that. Let's just slip in a boolean here. Sleep until let's see, G EQZ E C 1. That, or you've moved up far enough. So where should we have move up far enough for that to show up? Probably to, if you make it to the other side, all the way over here. Let's get that all up and going. So that's just guaranteed to show up. Volume, test objects, TV, kill, quarantine zone. Yeah. Okay, now in that AI scene, let's see. Where's that AI scene? Foreigners be praised, the Arbiter. Quarantine zone initial. Let's see, quarantine zone initial. That wakes that scene, and then I imagine that scene waits for certain conditions to be met until it starts playing. so we are going to set that boolean after this guy finishes his scene. Set G QZ any scene 1, and then global boolean G QZ any scene. Okay, and then just in case this guy dies before he can finish his dialogue, we're also going to wait add a condition to show the objective prompt after all your guys have, if all those guys have died. I think it can play on any one of them, whichever one you're closest to. So we're gonna add in this condition. AI living count. What's their squad called? Any insertion pods. And AI spawn count. Any initial insertion pods. Alright, let's check out the timing on that. If I can place this in the right damn spot. Should be in the right spot. Yeah, I plan to make the brutes more intimidating in H3R. Sending them as well. There you are. You're the one who's running the scene, but you're not the one talking, weirdly. How is that working? Okay, there we go. Perfect timing. Alright, now we just need to polish up the trigger conditions of the scenes. Oh yeah, Luna recently added ragdolls to the Flood combat forms, too. What scene is that? Scene, quarantine zone initial. Trigger condition, scene trigger 4. What is this? Player within 4 world units, okay. I think it would probably be a better idea to script the trigger conditions ourselves here. We can have greater control over it. Should wait until the initial wave of flood over here is thinned out, so there aren't flood over on this side. And he still needs to be able to fight as well. Okay, so let's let him CS enable pathfinding failsafe 1, CS enable looking 1, CS enable moving 1, CS enable targeting 1. Alright, and then have him also look at the player. CS look player 1. Okay, what we'll do actually is if the enemies are a certain distance away from him, then he will look at you. So if AI or objects, distance to object, AI actors, flood, AI get object, AI current actor, greater than, let's say, if they're flood or greater than, let's say, 8 world units from us, then we will look at the player. Look at and face the player. And then over here, we will stop facing the player. Stop facing and stop looking at the player. Stop looking at the player here, and then we'll stop facing the player here. Might make him do some emoting animations at some point. Oh yeah, also another thing I should do is, what is his dialogue? 530, 540, 550. To make his dialogue use the radio 3D thing, so it turns to radio dialogue if you wander away far enough, so... radio 3D Cubby, I think it's called. Radio Cubby 3D. And that also means that I need to set his dialogue to never obstruct either. If he's going to have the 3D radio dialogue, set these to all to never obstruct. Alright. And then, what about the scene trigger conditions? I can easily script that here. So, okay, so I have full control over how I want this to trigger. Let's see. Let's have it so wait until there are no flood in this trigger volume, maybe? Also having it wait a flat amount of time probably also be good. Let's have it check for the living count of these guys who are all over here. So wait until both of these guys are dead, and also that there are no flood currently inside of this trigger volume. But this scene could also trigger when you're already over the bridge as well. Also should probably have a timeout. Say 500 picks. to clarify that should probably be the non-swarm count, so it's not counting any infection forms. Let me add back in that scene trigger condition that you need to be within 4 world units. That's probably just a good trigger to have. I'm not sure, Primus. That should be good enough trigger conditions, I think. Get to actually building the encounter proper very soon. Who is talking? Why are you talking, but you're not the one running the scene? Excuse, what is going on? Oh, it's just, oh my, it's just choosing the fucking squad to run. It's choosing the squad to play the lines of dialogue instead of the actor who's actually running the command script. Let me fix that. Silly bungo. I guess it doesn't really matter who says the dialogue if they're not doing anything specific, though, in vanilla. Job. Let's disable him moving if the Flood are already a good distance away. Does Halo 2's mod tools suck? I mean, it has its frustrations, but I wouldn't say they're consistently terrible.
what we can
Or
against the
flood. Here currently.
Commander has landed further in. Let us join him.
We add a condition to where it waits until there are less infection forms close by. They also put the carriers into a special squad group. Controls infection forms. Benzene zone initial. Flood action. Hi there, Glitch Mess. For the shotgun.
Forerunners be praised. The Arbiter. This quarantine zone has been compromised. We must do what we can against the flood. Our commander has landed further in. Let us join him.
That'd probably also be a good time to queue up a checkpoint as well. So what we'll do is sleep until the scene is run. BQZ any scene or you've moved up. Immediate save back save. Alright, now would be a great time to actually build the encounters, relevant gameplay stuff proper. Okay, so let me drag down all the squads that I'm going to definitely use here for this rebuilding this encounter. It's initial flood, initial carriers, flood on the bridge, flood camp, carrier, cave, flood, elites. Yep, I'm gonna use all of these guys. Let me just drag them all down here so I can have them all easy to access. Okay, first of all, let's fix the elite having his shields permanently dropped. I say fix, but that was probably a conscious choice on the designer's end. Probably just has his shield stun set to infinite. This guy actually runs a command script that specifically tells him to go to the bridge. Yep. Okay, so he has a maximum shield vitality. His maximum shield vitality set to 0. So let's just disable that so he can be allowed to live. And they also do that to the guy that was commented out. But we're not going to spawn him in. Alright, that guy's fixed. Now, what weapons should I spawn with? I'm gonna have 4 of them. Oh, they don't even have grenades. Let's fix that. Spec Ops guys that don't have grenades? What the fuck? Are we for serious right now? Alright, you can have a plasma rifle, you can have a carbine. Let's actually make you have a needler. Not a shotgun. Needler. You have a carbine, you're not even gonna spawn. You have a carbine as well. Alright. Nice and simple squad setup. Okay, now for the initial flood. Get all their placements up and going. I guess this accounts for all of the flood that are wandering around on this side. There's some on that side though. Yeah, so having let's have 3 of them wandering over here on Legendary. Let's also put them in their own script as well. Use the script. Wake, AI, Quarantine Zone, Initial Flood. Also, let's always spawn these turrets that are over here too. Okay, so this is annoying to do, but if difficulty heroic, then spawn 3 of these guys, but if not on heroic, just spawn them normally, because it rounds down for normal and heroic. I'd prefer normal and heroic and legendary to have the same number of AI spawned, which is 3. Okay, and then we'll have all these guys basically spawn pretty much all over here. Either be flood combat form humans or elites. Give you an SMG. You, plasma pistol. You need you to do a human combat form. Shotgun. You, your plasma rifle. You, battle rifle. You, not a rocket launcher. Give you a healer instead. Alright. Any of these guys always placed? Oh, okay. Seems like a good combination of dudes that can potentially spawn. Make it so these guys don't spot you and interrupt the scene if you're staying there watching it. Less likely to spot you immediately. Okay, and then initial carriers as well. I think they can stay exactly where they are. They're fine. Make them not have plasma grenades, though, because that makes no sense. Oh yeah, I need to set the human combat forms and elites to have the right grenade type, if they're part of the same squad. The ultra combat forms work in H2R. They upgrade dynamically from regular shielded combat forms. I'm gonna have Rocket Flood in the holdout section, but not here. And there's all these guys over here on the other side of the bridge. I'm wondering what I should do with them. I think what I should do is I should have these guys hang out over here initially, and then once the once your ally scene over here has run, or you started to move up, they will converge on you over here. Sort of like a little mini wave before you get over to this side. I'll probably have fuel rod flood at some point, yeah. Okay, let me also change the naming scheme of these guys to be easier to reference. Exel, don't be weird. Alright, now for the guys who are on the far side, I want them to pretty much stay here until you've moved up. On in like 3 to 4 of them. I think it'd be a good idea to spawn one of the combat forms that come from the cave with an energy sword, so you're guaranteed to have one going into the next area. No, I'm not gonna fix sword flying. I wouldn't be able to even if I could, I don't think. Those are those guys spawn set up. Got all the initial guys set up. Maybe try removing this guy's command script to go to the bridge, see if it can just do it naturally. Okay, let me take a look at the zone set here. Where's the zone initial? This should work just fine for blood. Do I want to change this at all for allies? Maybe. I'm gonna make a zone set specifically just for the elites. Other allies to use. Flood. That should work just fine for the flood. UZ allies. Just so I can have very, very fine control over where your allies go and when. So they're not like super getting in your way all the time and positioning themselves in really dumb ways. Figuring out where I want them to stand, fight from, where I want them to fight from. Have I seen Superman? No, I'm not a big movie person. Okay, that's about all the firing positions I'm going to worry about with them for now. Okay, I'm going to redo everybody's orders. So having them able to follow you wherever is just like a recipe for a total clusterfuck. So what we're gonna do is going to have them use the more nuanced firing positions I gave them. Do I have them following you from the beginning, or yeah, probably following from the beginning would make sense. Let's see if the guy on the far side way over here can make his way to you successfully. Hi, Unseen Halo. What sort of extra decoration should I make for the camp over here? Probably let's make it so the watchtower is actually up and deployed. How does that work? Let's see, I did work with the watchtowers when I made them like initially deploy when I was working on Arbiter. Let me see what I did there. These device machines, yeah. Oh, I can just move this up where it should be. There we go. We'll do the same with the watchtower in the other area as well. No, not really, Massimo. Just a matter of making the bitmap for the reticle and importing it into the game. Doing it to your liking. Just having them follow you should be, well, good enough. Not here though. Have them wait until the encounter's actually finished before they move to here. Let's see. Busy any done? Air if you were alive. I think it'll check until they see if these guys have spawned first before it'll trigger this. If not, that'll be annoying. Busy any flood. And the cave flood. Okay, hopefully that'll work properly. I will need to test that out. Add the flamethrower in H2R? We'll see. Okay, hopefully the elites here pathfind properly. Shit off my screen, Bungie!
400 be praised! The Arbiter! This quarantine zone has been compromised. We must do what we can against the flood.
Yeah, they're making the way over here just fine.
Let us join him.
Getting a little distracted, but getting over here just fine. Good to see you with your shields up for once. Okay, the order's working properly. Whoa! Bro, chill. I just killed by this ODST. I think I got shotgun by this ODST.
Robot down.
Okay. Have these guys spawning in properly yet? Did it place the cave guys yet? Oh, I have this mistakenly set to camp. Alright, kill these guys and then they should progress to their ending positions. There they go. Okay, nice. Have the allies settle into near the exit once all the enemies are dead. Okay, that's the allies all set up, and I need to set the orders for the other guys. I need to use the bathroom real quick. I will be right back. Alright, now we need to give the orders to the initial flood that spawned here. Okay, they're just wandering over here as they should. That's good. Also have them follow you over here if you are rushing as well. Is there a trigger for that yet? Like it? Player and trigger volume, PVQZ cam. Okay. Follow you every which way. Carriers got the same order. And the guys that are on the far side, put them to bunkering initially, so they don't try to rush you until it's time to. So they're just gonna like hang out over here. They are gonna switch orders to the initial quarantine zone firing positions once the ally scene is finished or the player has moved up. Honestly, I would be very interested to see what they would do with the Halo CE remake. I don't have any particular preferences for how I'd want a Halo CE remake to be made, because we got the original fully accessible and fully moddable, so I'd like to see just whatever anyone's ideas for that are. I'm not particularly fussed about anything in particular, as long as they don't add like fucking sprint and ADS. That shit just like does not belong in Halo. wait until you've moved up, or the AI scene has been run. I give a guaranteed save here if you've killed all these guys. If and AI non-swarm count blood is, let's say, 2 or less alive. If you thin them out when you're progressing up here, you'll get a guaranteed save. Need a better trigger volume for letting the game know whether or not you pooped up. There we go, that should do a bit better. You don't accidentally trigger while you're still on the bridge. Let's test that out.
be praised! The Arbiter! This quarantine zone has been compromised. We must do what we can against the flood. Our commander has landed further in. Let us join him.
Now all the other guys on that side should be rushing our position now.
What is that man? Stand back. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Now for the flood waves. Having your Spec Ops guys positioned like this instead of just following you all around makes this a lot more fun. We have AI grenades enabled. Let me make sure that we do coming into this encounter. There was a script to get them to enter the turrets, funnily enough. Alright, now let's clean up all the spawns of the soft respawning waves. I'm happy with the number that respawn there. Play that sound once. Probably throw in a carrier spawn with them as well. Music additions in the last encounter? Don't know at the moment. Just a rocket dude spawn. Let's not save the rocket until the next area. Me add a couple of carrier placements as well. QZ in a car. Yep. On in one of them bad boys. Come from either side here. Now for their orders. Easy initial camp. That'll work. Square's my favorite. The cave guys, that's fine for them. Add some searching here. Okay. That should pretty much be everything for this encounter. Oh, I have to touch up the spawns for the guys in the cave. Probably make sure that a sword guy spawns from the cave. Also spawn 6 flood here. Alright, who is whoever's in front. You can hold the sword, and you can be a Flood Elite Major as well. They are more likely to upgrade to an Ultra on higher difficulties. Need to add the Flood Combat Elite Major to the palette. You're always going to place, and you're always going to have an energy spread. Okay, and a bunch more variations of dudes who can spawn back here. Should be pretty much everything for this encounter, gameplay-wise. Also, probably spawn the guys in the cave. You get close to it too. That is way too close to the general combat area. Save when everybody's dead. Let me test rushing through the encounter, make sure everything holds together. Disposable once these guys all start coming in. Ah! Oh, even spawned as an ultra on normal difficulty.
Forerunners be praised! The Arbiter is working.
Got cut off there. Okay, let's give this a test on Legendary. Oh yeah, I also wanted to put a turret up here. Let me look for the turret squad. Do you see any turrets? Let's see, there's a turret right here as well. But that's like right where the flood over here lands, so I was thinking maybe moving it to up here would make more sense. You make better use of the space back here. So it's aligned properly with the surface. I don't think I can rotate it if it's placed. Can I? Placed within a squad. Yeah, I can. Yeah. I'm gonna restore the cut Juggernaut fight in the encounter after this. Hi there, Frosted Moontips. Now what kind of scenery changes do I want to make here? I think I want to have a couple shields, but we already got lots of cover going on here. Let me put some weapons in these crates. That's not the right crate. There we go. What should I put in here? The players likely want coming into here, going into the next encounter and being here. I should probably put it like a weapon crate near here as well. Go plasma rifles. Plasma rifles and carbines. Or Skinners. Decorate this place with a couple of camping stools. I don't want to place too much more here. Already a lot of cover in this environment. Okay, now what about bodies? Gotta have some grunt and jackal bodies. And a couple jackal bodies. What the fuck is this? Random. Why is there a random can of beans like rolling around on the ground? Where the fuck did that come from? Excuse me? Where the fuck did that can of beans come from? That's a human crate object. Bro, what the fuck? It's like that Chef Boyardee commercial. It found its way to us. Bro, where did that come from? I'm so confused. What the fuck? There's no object place here. Oh man, it's the ghost of Quarantine Zone. Okay, that should do for bodies here. Now let's decorate it with some gore and big splats. Bunch of miscellaneous blood dotted around from elites that bit the dust. Blood here, too, if there isn't already. There might be. Oh, there's flood blood over here. I don't see any on this side. Decals are always funky to place on this kind of terrain. At least decorators are. as well. I think these decals should automatically map to the normals just fine. Plasma burns and bullet holes. And bullet holes. And blast marks. Okay, I think that will do for decoration this area. Let's add some chunks around the blast marks. Great. Yeah, it's pretty much this encounter complete, aside from the other things that I have listed down, which are very decoration based. Let's give it a test on Legendary. Let's take it from the Ledge B encounter, see how it flows together. Luna also added a flashlight variant, or a spotlight variant of the machine gun turret. I just placed these down today. I didn't imagine this will play any sort of important role in any gameplay encounter, but it was a fun ad. should probably give a guaranteed save there. Yapping. You're not supposed to be able to talk. Works exactly as intended. Hi. You were not supposed to be an ODST flood. they upgrading when they shouldn't be, or do I have the... Do I have a Thunderstorm skull on? No. I think they are erroneously upgrading when they should not, dynamically.
Forerunners be praised! The Arbiter! This quarantine zone has been compromised. We must do what we can against the flood. Our commander has landed further in. Let us join him.
Yay, actually throwing grenades.
Together!
Ice Sword Flood. Okay, nice and simple, everything works. We make a couple of adjustments to the ledge sea spawns. You can get the allies to walk with you through the insides of the quarantine zone, oh mama. They can. It's just that they don't get out of their vehicles whenever you go into the Sentinel factories, so they're just stuck there. But if you can get them out of their vehicles, they will follow you. All the way through the level. Okay, now I do want to add like ambient banshee and phantom flocks, which I can easily spawn up here. That should be a real easy deal. Banshees. And Phantoms. Okay, we'll need to add a kill volume to kill them when they get out of bounds. Okay, what is the edge of the BSP here? All the way over here. Okay. Kill. Huge ass kill volume all across this side of the BSP. Kill all the flocks that make contact with it. That is a really damn far away. And I just realized that's the shape of the BSP will make it awkward for ones that spawn over here. Look at him go! I could probably extend the BSP way farther back so they are able to fly a lot farther before despawning. Could easily do that. Gotta grab this and drag it back. Voila. I'll re-import that later though, not now. Yeah, that's well out of view. Production frequency. One thing I would like to do with this BSP and the quarantine zone BSPs is I want to have fucking Covenant cruisers and carriers like really high up in the in space, visible from down here, like just a few of them looming above, since we literally got the entire Covenant fleet around this ring. Heck, when we get to quarantine zone, could even do something fancy, maybe like have Covenant ships firing down upon the ground from bombarding from way up there. Or then maybe they wouldn't do that, I'm not sure, because this is so close to the library, but interesting idea. And then we also had to take care of the having pods drop for that represent the Spec Ops commander, so let's play around with that idea. I have 3 of them drop over here. I don't even think... Do we even need to spawn an AI for this to work? I don't think we do. Insertion pod. Set it to no driver. Then I believe the way this works, this needs to be attached to like something that allows it to fall from the atmosphere like it should. Actually send them in first, so the farther ones away start dropping first before the ones closer to you land. F, G, H. Don't even need to detach the doors. They're not even gonna be visible. Well, actually, if I keep them spawned in the next area, I will need to have that. Just need to don't need to have any of the fancy effects associated with that. Is that a device machine, or is that a vehicle? Is it a device machine? What is their dropping trajectory like? It is like weirdly inconsistent. That's not like flipping through the walls above, is it? Really make sure that doesn't happen. Copy these. Okay, now it'll send all these in before it sends in the other dudes. Let's take a look at how that looks. What happened? Oh, I'm fucking stupid. Do all these. Let me see how one of them looks, just to make sure. Oh, for fuck's sake, fuck off, Sacred Icon. Me all the way to the start of the mission. I didn't set these to have the right device machine. G-Pod inserters, sentinel balls. Have I compiled the map yet? Yeah, I've done multiple compiled playtests. Fucking hello, where are you? Oh my god. What the fuck? Are they not created? Be getting created by the script. Can we cool it down in chat? Y'all are being annoying. Ugh. Why is this not attaching to the device machine properly? No! Not getting a content ID'd. it's not working properly because there aren't AI spawning in these vehicles. Okay, that made it work. Just need to erase them all once they exit their vehicles, or once they're done landing. Hey, nice. Why did only 2 of them drop down? I guess because I erased them too early. I'll kill them rather than erasing them. I think erasing them is also erasing the vehicles that they drop down in. Let's have them fall down from a consistent direction with the other guys. I think I can safely erase them once they've exited their vehicles. Hey.
Forerunners be praised! The Arbiter! This quarantine zone has been compromised. We must do what we can against the flood. Our
Oh
commander has
no,
landed
erasing
further
them.
in.
Well, I didn't
Let us
tell them to
join
get out
him.
of their vehicles, did I? Do that. Still want these to be over here by the time you reach this area. No! Stop erasing their vehicles as well. You gonna get out, bro?
Forerunners be praised! The Arbiter! This quarantine zone has been compromised. We must do what we can against them.
In the right squad. There we go. They should erase without getting rid of their vehicles.
Forerunners be praised, the Arbiter. This quarantine zone has been compromised. We must do what we can against the Flood.
Alright, I'll just kill them then. And then garbage collect when you come into this area. So their bodies aren't still there. Pods are hard-coded to vanish when their spawn units are removed? Do you know that for a fact, or are you just saying that? Good night.
Forerunners be praised, the Arbiter! This quarantine zone has been compromised. We must do what we can against the Flood. Our commander has landed further in. Let us join him.
Hey, I see that in action. Nice. Another thing done. Alright, that's one encounter left for this mission. I'm gonna work on that off stream. And for now, that's gonna be it for today's stream, guys. This encounter is fully complete here, all wrapped up and nicely polished. Working as it should. And next time I come back, I will probably be texturing all of the new areas, which will probably be like one of the last things I do in this mission. So yeah, we're almost done. Want to help support me? Go to my Patreon, tip in some bucks there. You could always send me some money through Streamlabs. Helps keep the project afloat. And yeah, so have a good night, guys. Do you think Quarantine Zone will be as mammoth a task as Sacred Icon? Probably less so, because I'm not planning on doing new areas for Quarantine Zone. But yeah, good night.